guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hi, how are you? I'm Pete. Now for today's video, as you probably can see by the thumbnail, what we are going to do, we are finally starting the project, the famous project that you've probably been hearing me speak of for some time now. As you can see, this is my own personal terrarium, homemade DIY. It was a random project, and of course everything just fell through just so perfectly, and I just love her. But this here is my terrarium of Maranta Prayer Plants. This is the green one. Hopefully you guys already seen my prayer plant collection, and this here is the green. I don't know if I inserted a picture of her, a video or not, or even a picture of her during that time, but this is her. And I finally got the materials I needed to start the process. So but what I'm going to do is, let me break this down a little bit, then we're going to jump straight into it. Now, what you see here is just your average dollar shower cap. It once had plastic wrap on it, but when you're going in and out of it, just to either check on it or let it breathe a little bit, or even to do some pruning, the plastic, tends to get in the way, but it tends to get in the way, but it also, the plastic wrap, it keeps a seal to it. If you know plastic wrap and glass, it usually sticks pretty good. So that was a plus for the plastic wrap, but just to going in and out purposes like this, and it just made it a lot easier. So I use this shower cap. Now, so this glass here I got from Walmart. I think it was like $8, maybe $9 at the time, and it came from I think it was the Walmart brand, the at home brand. I'm not sure, but anyway, I got it, and I had repurposed it just for this. I got it for something else, but anyway, this is a hurricane with the legs to it. Hurricane base, glass vase, or table. Hurricane table mount, glass vase. I'll stick the name up top, but down inside of her, as you've seen already, there is a perfect specimen. Well, there is this spot right here that popped up, I think yesterday or the day before, and not sure what it is, but of course I did spray her just in case, and if anything is going on with her, because I did, by mistake, I left it open maybe for like a day or so and really not noticing it, because again, these are one of the plants that could have made the don't need me list, but again, I didn't add this one in it just because I didn't film her just yet, and I didn't want her in there. But anyway, guys, inside of her, as you can see, she is growing perfectly healthy. There aren't any crispy tips, just that little spot that I showed you that's right there. Down inside of her, I did do the gravel. I have dirt, garden soil and bark mixed within it, and I also have a nice layer of regular outside moss, as you can see, growing in the inside. And these guys right here are micings as well. So this is what I was saying about going in and out and having to prune her. I've pruned these micings I don't know how many times. These micings are pretty old. They were part of the first set that I got, and after a while I didn't really know the conditions of micings as well because they love the humidity as well. But what had happened was I just ended up cutting them down, and I finally figured where I wanted to put them, and they ended up in here. And of course, the root systems, I don't know if you can see them pretty good here, but this is probably the root system of the prayer plant, but it's very prominent. I don't know if I can get that with the camera or not, but there, the roots are there, there. But she is doing, or they are doing pretty good in him, but mostly she, you know, because I got it for my prayer plants, and this is what encouraged me to start this little series of mine. So I also have, just for decoration, looks like I don't moved it, but again, it's fine just because it's just decoration. But this moss is so thick, I wish you guys can feel it, but when it first started, it looked just like the ones I'm going to show you. But yeah, there's a shell, a little seashell right there that sits in the middle. But of course, I've been turning it so it has rolled a little bit. But this is my green prayer plant, and she is lovely, and I'm loving this idea of mine. And again, she has been growing perfectly for me. What I'm going to do eventually is go out and find one of those glass lids to go on top. I'm pretty sure I probably won't get the exact diameter, but maybe something a little bit bigger, just to cover it up. And you know, so this is not aesthetically horrible looking, but she sits in the bathroom, of course, but she sits behind the door on a shelf, and she's getting not a lot of indirect sunlight, but like I said, that bathroom window is huge, and it's the glass plane or glass plane, or however you pronounce it, the thick glass. But she's getting enough light because she is growing perfectly, and again, I'm loving her, and I think she's starting now to send off runners, so eventually she will spread a lot more, even though she has started to shoot out another baby. But let's move on to the actual project here. Oh, all right. So, hopefully you guys remember. I'm not sure if it's posted yet, but this is the mother plant of the variegated Maranta. I'm sorry. The one that we're actually going to be transferring today into her forever home. This variegated Maranta I've had not that long, close to like a year, a little under a year. And again, since I don't have the right conditions outside of my grow tent, I can't really house them and grow them the way they need to grow. Now, mind you that I could let them sit outside the tent and actually grow, but not really thrive. And I was looking for them to thrive and not just sit there, or not just, be alive, if you get what I'm saying. Because some plants would just keep 2 leaves for like 3 years and then randomly start to grow. But anyway, so what I did was I cut her up, and as you can see here, she's all rooted and ready to go down into, again, her forever home, which will be the terrarium that I got in. What we have next on the material list, I usually put random pieces of stick or wood in there just so Aesthetically it looks good, and also once it starts to decompose, the plant or the plants can use it as nutrients and stuff. I also have here some extra cuttings of, well, at this point they're plants just because I pulled them out of I think I did a video. Yeah, matter of fact, you're going to see the video. I'm going to insert right here. Alright guys, here are the micings that you will see in the video that I am going to use inside also for some fillers. Since this potting mix, as you've learned, is very airy, it makes it a lot easier for me to get these out of here, as you can see, even though I wouldn't recommend you doing that just in case if you snap a root. But I'm going to be placing some of these, of course, in my terrarium. So let me just get these little boogers out. Here's a little baby one there. I was using, of course, my melanochrysin as a housing or filler for these micings here. But, of course, I have some where else to place them. So I'm going to get this last one out here. Of course, comes right out. We're going to pull it from the top since I did attach this one with the fishing wire. Let's get her out, untangled here. Only just because of the melanochrysin leaves are kind of overpowering it, competing for light, and yeah, just gonna take her out. But here are the pieces that you will see in the upcoming video. Now, again, as you just seen, I took them out and stuck them in some water, and they've been sitting in here for a little while. But again, these will be just like the ones you see in the green terrarium. They will be considered mother plants to someone else for some trading, or eventually some other plants for some more projects, and hopefully definitely a mother plant for that black Maranta that I've been looking for forever, that I can't seem to find, and it's just very disturbing. But of course I would have to propagate her for that black Maranta, and I'm not gonna give up on it, but she's very elusive and I have to find her. But anyway guys, ranting again, huh? Let's put this back in here. Now also next, what we have on the material list, I have my soil and bark mix. With this mix, again, you really, well, for me and how I grow mine, I mean, as you can see that it's growing fine. I really don't use a lot of it, but I use enough. We'll get into that. But I do use enough of it. I also have some random shells here as well. You know, just aesthetically, they look good, and it's like an extra pop of color. But I think that is it. I also have my regular layer of wood chips that I use, and I have these pond rocks, and these are the white ones. They're a little more colorful. I think river rocks maybe that I use as well. Sometimes I will sprinkle it on the top just to give it a little bit more look. But as I noticed in this one here, some of those rocks will be covered up with the moss, and the moss will grow on it. But if you want to keep your rocks looking rocky, you would just need a bigger, smoother, or whatever shaped rock you want to use. And then I also have my regular pond right here, which goes at the bottom. So once I put the water in, this water the rocks will separate the water from the soil and keep it from getting muggy and soggy. And then now your roots are just gone, and now your plant is probably dead. But yeah, and then also what I'm going to put in there as well, I decided to put my jewel orchids in there. As you can see, since I finally put them in here, she's been shooting off. Let's see, she's been shooting off all kinds of new growth. So again, this jewel orchid, this will be its forever home once we get around to it. So let's go ahead and get to it. And also I have this jar that I'm using. It came from Walmart. I do have a much bigger one, which I am using for my other Marantas, but those Marantas are much bigger than this one. So I was like, well, let me just use one that I can handle. And since these don't grow as vigorously as the other ones for me, I decided to go a lot smaller. Not a lot smaller, but a little smaller, just to preserve a little space. So what we're going to do is just open this guy here on up. Alright. I think I did mention I got this from Walmart. I think it was about maybe $6, between $6 to $8. I'm really not sure, but I do know that it was pretty cheap. So I mean, I could get this off. It says Anchor Hawking. I guess that's the company that made it. Yeah, let's take this on off. It comes off easy for one, and aesthetically it looks good. So this is like your, I would say, most people would call it a candy cookie jar, but today it was my terrarium. So this is what we're working with. Right here, guys. Looks wonderful. Okay. All right. So I don't know if I told you guys this, but this will be I think maybe a 1, 2. Wait, this is 1, so 2, 3, 4. This is probably a 4 or 5 part series. Let's just say 4 and maybe 5 max, if anything. But let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is take my pond rocks, which are the smallest ones. I'm going to put them down. You know what, guys? Let's go with the bigger ones. I used the small ponds in the other one, and everything worked out right. So let's go with the bigger pond rock. Yeah. So what we're going to do is basically, you're going to line the bottom of these. Let's put this down, so there we go. So you guys can see what's going on here. There we go. So, some of these you might see little marbles like this, clear little marbles in here. I like the little marbles that come out of the, I think, is it backgammon? Maybe? Is that the marble game? Backgammon? No, not backgammon. I don't know, guys. Some of you guys probably do know. It'll probably come to me later on. But anyway. Let's get I'm doing it like this so I don't chip it, and also the mic pick that sound up, and it gets a little aggy. So, but mostly I don't want to crack or break it. But you want this layer to be at least, I would say, an inch maybe off the bottom or from the bottom, or however you look at it. But mostly you don't want to see any of the clear glass at the bottom once you're done. Okay. Now, I'm using a smaller pot to fill in some of the crevices. You really don't have to, but you know, aesthetically for me, prefer to have it. Let's take some of these back out. Again, you want just about an inch, just because you still have extra layers. You still have extra not that many layers, but you have some layers to work with. And you don't want to sit too high, because then everything will just literally start to grow out. And then all this would have been almost for nothing. So, and purposely wise, this is where those bigger rocks come in handy. Okay. Alright, that'll do it for our rock section. Let's stick these down here on the side. Now what I'm going to do is put a layer of the bark, a chip bark down here. As you can see, some of them pieces are pretty big and solid. I'm not sure if where is she? Yeah, I didn't, but it's fine. Let's just put some of this bark in here. And again, you don't want a lot, but you want to make sure at least the surface of this, or your pond, or your rocks, or whatever you want to call it, just to make sure that it is covered a little. Very simple, guys, very simple. Okay, what we're going to do next, we're going to use this soil here. Again, this is my average gardening soil. What I normally do is I would use I would have taken some of this dirt from the mother plant out and used it with, but it has too much perlite in it for me, and even though perlite is fine in it, I just didn't want to do that, you know. So we're going to take some of this dirt here, and of course, you want to make sure your mulch, wood chips are covered. And as you can see now, there's like 2 inches or so of soil in here now. You can see your pond or your rocks, and then this is where wood chips start to come in, and here comes your 2 to maybe 3 inches of soil. Now what I'm going to do is I have to, for the mother here, what I'm going to do is take her root system. I'm going to check and see if she's still there, and if she's still fine, I'm going to take her on out and place her down in here. Now, what I'm going to do, I want to do this here since I don't have a extra pot, which is usually my case. I'm just going to use this Walmart bag that the Terrarium came out of. Okay, please, yeah. Alright, so, yeah, she's fine. Probably was just waiting until she got ready. I don't know. Plants sometimes have a mind of their own. But I say that because I'm looking at a substantial... Oh, some of these, look at that. Oh, I'm going to have to show you this. Some of these were growing. I've seen a couple white roots, but some of these just look, probably, I'm going to say probably is my fault. Water, as you can see, it's just, you know, just falling straight apart. But that's exactly why, one of the main reasons I cut her up, because I figured something would happen. Okay, now what I'm finding here is that even though some of this, she was starting to grow. Here we go. Gotcha. Alright, so let me take all this dead off, and as you see, the dead stuff just comes, it just comes right off. Oh my, I'm so glad, so glad I got a chance to go ahead and start this, because this would have been just not good if I would have waited. I don't know how long. Well, at least for this part, the root system. But of course, I do have my cuttings over there, which I was actually more worried about, because I thought this was at least okay. Not perfect, because of course I had to cut it, but I thought at least minimum okay. So I think those were the right ones here. Okay, so everything else from that plant or that part has disappeared, and this is what's left. And I love these little tubers. I think they store sugars and stuff, but it was trying to grow. As you can see, the new grow point right there. So she was regrowing. So I'm just going to dress this up real quick. Put this there. Move this over here. Hold on real quick, guys. Alright, guys. Sorry about that. Fan column was making a lot of noise, but yes, this is what's left out of that little plant. Extra grow point right there. Get it to focus. Come on. Okay, I gotta move on. There's a little bit more. There's also a nail that I use, since plants love, I think it's rust or something of that nature. Let's check here. Here's another little piece that seemed to be doing okay. Again, let's get some of this dead stuff off. And again, I'm so glad I caught this thing, guys. There's another little piece trying to grow right there. Let's see what else we have. I also have another new growth point here. So, I mean, ultimately, she was okay. She just started back over all the way back over, but she would have been okay. There's also another grow point there. And the actual mother here, I see. Alright, well guys, camera cut off. You know, usual things, but as dressing her up, as you can see, all these are new grow points. Let's see. Anyway, they're new growth points, again, which makes this project a lot easier for me. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to make sure when we put these in here that the roots are flat as they can be, not bunched up. Take our other cuttings, do the same thing here with the rest of your, I would say, mother plant. And again, guys, this is a Maranta variegated Maranta. And so the roots don't have to be in any kind of specific or spectacular order, but you just want to make sure that they are, you know, flat or flush down towards the ground, because we have to put a small layer or another layer of soil on top of here, just to make sure everything is, you know, solid, covered up. All right, so we are done with this here. Stick this down. All right, now what we're going to do is add that layer of soil. And again, this is to cover your roots. It don't have to be perfect. I honestly, I'll take some of this out. I honestly wouldn't, depending on what you're doing, I really wouldn't do that, put that much in there. Again, you want these to grow, but I think I forgot to mention these as well. I have some moss that I got from outside here. They've been sitting in this container, I think, a couple of days, and they've been actually growing. Probably can't see, but they're sending off little shoots, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I will insert a video of me with these, like right here, right now. Alright guys, so what we're doing now, I am going to one of the spots out here that have a lot of natural moss, like there's on there, but there is a lot of it here, which I will be getting up to use for my project. All I have here is just something to collect it in, and also a, you know, simple butter knife. So what we're going to do is find a nice section like this here, and we're going to slightly go across the right underneath of it, not even a full inch, because most to all of your moss root system grows on the top, and you really don't need as much dirt, but you'll see later on how I will handle that. But this spot here, as you can see, is holding a lot of moss, It barely gets any sunlight, morning sunlight, and of course the evening to afternoon sun is on the back. But this is what I cleared up. As you can see, there is a lot here. Now I do know a spot in Macon where it is lush, and I'm hoping that this is the same variety, but if not, you know, I will have to go and find it. But I think the variety I'm looking for is, I think this kind. I'm not sure, but this one is growing as well. We'll see once I get it inside and we start the planting process. Let's grab some of these here. I'm not sure if they're all the same. They don't look the same, but as you can see here, compared to this one here, wait, let's get another piece. Compared to, I can break this off right here. One of these where it's, you know, a lot flatter. So, yeah, let's get some more of the little fluffied kind, and here we go. And also, of course, this moss here will help with any extra moisture, and also it looks good as well. Not only moisture, but humidity and different toxins and things in the air. Also, that is what the plant is for. But for now, this here is what I have. I'm pretty sure I will need a lot more because, as you should know, I am doing a couple of these. So for now, this should do it. What I'm going to do now is just pause it and walk around this area, see can I find any more of the lush kind of like that one there. But yeah. Alright guys, I did find another spot. With these, they're not much pronounced just because I'm sure not enough probably sunlight, and also this is like a little traffic area, so the kids, as you can hear in the background, love to come over here and run and play. But this is what we have here. All natural moss that will be going inside of my terrarium, but don't forget, I also have to clean them as well. Alright guys, so next step, what we're going to do is take your moss. You're really not supposed to use chlorinated water or water from your sink rather, but since I know for a fact, I've done this before, and that these plants will not be grown or be watered in these kind of conditions, just rinsing them off won't hurt them as much. We're basically just going to go through this process here. It's going to take a while. I don't know if you can see, but what should be left are the roots, which are very small, like I said before. I'm just getting the extra dirt off the back of these so I don't have any kind of extra pest problems once I finish this product. Now, I'm not sure how these will react with my infamous spray that I use, so I'm not going to spray them, and this is will help me with the process of not having to spray them. Now, I also, just for housing purposes, I have a plastic container. One second. I have this plastic container that I'm just going to stick them in when I'm finished, just so that I have a secure place, and I also know that they are have been cleaned as well. Now keep in mind when you get these, there will be some strayaways, is what I call them, little bitty grass plants or whatnot, weeds that grow inside of the moss. Now, moss, as you can tell or seen or heard, any kind of moss in the right conditions can harbor the best conditions for a plant. just because the moss itself makes a kind of like a netted bed per se. Makes it a lot easier for the plants, as you can see, these strayaways to cling in and make themselves well known. Now, as I said before, this will be a long process. And again, this one here is full of roots. Of course, as you probably heard from the last clip, I'm not sure which variety of moss this is, but what you will do is try your best without disturbing the soil and breaking them up into small pieces, which, you know, most people hate working with small pieces, and depending on the plant, I do too. Just to keep them from falling apart, and that way you can strategically place these inside of your whatever you're putting them in, and they won't be real itty bitty small pieces like this one here, which would be horrible to work with if they're all of this size. Alright, second piece. What I'm going to do now is tie my hair back, since I don't know if you can see it, but it is dripping in the water. So yeah. Now again, once you have finished the process itself, you're just basically going to cover them up until they're needed. It should be kind of moist already, just because of the soaking process. And also, after you've done maybe about 3 or 4, I would recommend you cleaning the water, just because there are dirt remnants and debris, and I'm pretty sure other kind of bugs and things that is down in here. And you probably can't tell on camera, but once you dip them down in the water, your moss seems to turn colors, and that's only because of the water content. But as soon as it starts to grow, I will guarantee you one thing: you will not see any kind of dirt, floating around, anything of that such, because the moss will grow right up through, and it will look perfect. I mean, we're talking out of Jet magazine, if Jet magazine did plants, that kind of perfect. Alright, so what I'm going to do, guys, is fast forward this process. This is a very long and tedious process, and also because I have to switch out the water, like I said. So yeah, see you in a second. Luckily, look at my hair in the water again. Luckily, it is about maybe 69 to 70 degrees out here, so this water is not bothering me as much as it would have been if I would have did this like yesterday or the day before. And it was low 30s here, and it sucked, but whatever. Again, most of what you're seeing is just roots that are attached to the finished plate. right, guys, that is it. I will see you guys in the the plant room in just a second. All right, so I said not to really worry about the extra dirt or extra soil just because of this process right here. Now what you're going to do is get your pieces of moss. Again, I wouldn't really worry about what they look like as of now just because of everything is going to change once you get finished, or once they start to grow. It will definitely change on you. So what I'm going to do is get my moss and place it right on in here, right on top of your soil. And also I have my couple of sticks as well to give some of it some extra height in here. Let's do that there. But this process to me is the fun process because now you get to arrange things in here exactly how you want them to grow. And in this process, it's a lot easier for you to do. Alright. Now all of this moss, as you just seen, everything here is natural. It came right out of the front, guys. So, of course, I'm going to need another batch of this stuff. And as you probably heard, I do know for a fact, I know a spot that I can get some thick, lush, like carpet size ones in here that would most definitely make this process go a lot faster. Just because, you really wouldn't have to do any extra cuttings or worry about any smaller pieces. So that's always a plus, especially when you don't have smaller pieces. And with this case, moss is moss, and small pieces definitely turn into huge pieces because they spread vigorously if the conditions are right. So this is a pretty nice solid piece. And again, you're just wanting to cover up your roots. You want to leave your crown. You want to make sure that the crown of the plant or the new growth part that I showed you earlier, you just want to make sure that that part is at least visible. Because right now at this stage, your moss, even though it could allow the plant itself to puncture through, but I'm pretty sure since this is some new moss that the root system itself is not as well. If you guys work with moss, you know what I mean. The system it intertwines itself, and it's like a little carpet. So if it's growing and the carpet is not as loose as it should be, it's just going to pick it up and make it grow with the grow rate of that Maranta. So I have to at least just make sure that don't happen, but some things you really just can't prevent from happening. But you know, it's life, guys. It's just really life. So I am, as you can see, I've been putting moss in here. So I'm trying to go around the edges and work my way through the middle, which I probably should have saved that piece for something else, but we're going to use it. There we go. Gonna cover that little piece up there and flip this carpet here over, flip that over, and flip that over now. Now we're going to take our Maranta cuttings, variegated here, out of the water. They're not loaded, that just didn't really shoot out roots there. Let's check. Oh, there they go. They were hiding. False alarm. They have roots. Well, that one did. These do too. And again, the conditions that they're going in, I'm going to help this out a lot quicker. Alright, lucky guys, I looked up and seen that camera cut off on us. But I was just placing my cuttings down inside. Let me cut this here. Technically, this is another plant. We're going to chop her. Stick you down first, since it's a lot easier now. Some people use those fancy little shear thingies. I don't really see it as being too necessary, even though I have big hands and it can get pretty clumsy, but I do know how to be delicate and soft, so that typically is not an issue, but sometimes it does become an issue. And then you could start to see why people use those little nail nose thingies, but I just inserted one Mikings cutting. I'm trying to adjust this shell, and I am going to insert this one right here, which will be the last one. Just going on this side, down here. There we go. Let's get a small piece of moss here, and we're going to use the moss to cover you up. And then let's double check. Stick this back down in the water. Alright guys, so aside from this cleanup, let's move some of this here over. This here is another kind of carpet moss. And close this here up. Now, for the last finishing touch, we have our jewel orchid, which is still just has been hanging on for a long time, guys. And I'm so glad she has done that for me. So I'm going to try my best, which you probably can't without disturbing all the roots, or what roots it has. But is that root or is that? Alright guys, so once you get that in there, again, you're going to push your moss back over it. I think I need some more right here. Well, looks like it, there we go. It fell off, but I got it. Let's put a little piece here just to cover up this little moss. Alright guys, this is the finished product. There's your markings there, your jewel orchid, and little spots like that, and that one there. Those are the mother plants, and hopefully they will catch up soon. I cannot wait till she flourishes, guys. Again, this is a lengthy process, but there's all the jewel orchid. A lengthy process, but fully worth it. And of course, once we get done, I just used regular bottled water since you're not supposed to use regular tap water. So again, honestly, that is enough, which probably is too much, but now, whoa. We are done. Final project, guys. And guess what? We have a couple of more of these to do. So stay tuned again. So I would like to thank you guys for coming and supporting the video. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below if you want to see anything else or have any other ideas, or just want to say hey. But again, you guys, thanks for coming by. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell to keep up with these projects, and I will see you guys on the next video. All right.